Welcome back to the Macro Gamer channel. My name is Mark Cassingham. Today we're going back into our Shield portfolios weekly numbers. So I do the Sword and Shield portfolio every week now. So this is the Shield portfolio. This is going to be week 53. This is as of July 26, 2025. So we're going to go into our weekly numbers for our Shield portfolio. Maybe I should put a Shield symbol right here. That way people know. All right, so we have our total portfolio's net worth. We're at currently $666.78. We have a total market gain of $53.89, and we have a return of 15.84% for our yield. So this is our 6 different assets and how they look on our pie chart. Then we have our portfolio weekly data for week 53. This is from July 18th till today. We have no net cash flow, so no money coming in. Pardon me. We have a market gain of 19 cents and a dividend earned of 31 cents, which gives us a total return of 50 cents. Big money, 50 cents. We have a money-weighted return of positive 0.08%. So very boring week, not too much happened, at least in the portfolio. Now we have our portfolio monthly data for week 53. This is as of June 25th till today. We have a net cash flow of $30.63. So this $30 deposit, you see this spike up right here on the chart. So this is our $30 from the cash account to the investment account. Over that time period, we have a market gain of $8.51. We have dividend earned of 31 cents, which gives us a total gain of $8.82. And we had a money weighted return over that time period of 1.38%. That's our monthly data. Man, this coffee kicks in. Now we have our quarterly data for week 53, so the past 3 months, going back to April 25th, 2025 until today. We have 4 deposits, so our net cash flow of $121.04. So you have 4 $30 deposits. You got one here, one here, one here, one here. So whenever you see the stair step, you have, or we have a market gain of $18.88. And we have a dividend earned of $1.12, and magically that comes out to a perfectly round number of $20, which is interesting how it perfectly came out that way. And for that time period, we have a positive money weighted return of 3.44%. That's for our quarterly data for the past 3 months. Now, the new one we get to start doing after the 52nd week of our portfolio is the portfolio yearly data. So this is a portfolio over 1 year's time frame for week 53. So this is from July 25th, 2024 till today, July 26, 2025. So this is 1 full year of data. We have net cash flow of $516.28. So you have we have our initial deposit plus all our deposits. So every time you see the stair step pattern here, there's like a cash deposit of $30 goes into the account, and that's going to add up to our total net cash flow. We have a market gain of $51.32, and we have a dividend earned of $3.39. Now we have a total gain of $54.71. This gives us a positive money weighted return of 15.90%. So my yearly number, right, is over 10%. That's my optimal performance goal. So anything over 10%, I'm happy with that. So we're doing good. Then we have the all-time data. Now this is just a wee bit longer because it's 53 weeks. So this goes back to July 19th, 2024. This is since inception. You have, roughly speaking, the same numbers, except the cash flow. We have our original $100 plus the $516. So you saw on this one, the $516 on that cash flow. And then now this is the all-time, so it has the original $100, so it's 616. Over that time period, we have the market gain of $50.50 and a dividend earned of $3.39 for a total gain of $53.89. We have a money-weighted return of positive 15.84%. So those are all-time for week 53. Now, we have our weekly percentages. And on the right side here, we have our target weighting. So gold still at 45% with our GLD ETF. Commodities at 15% with our USCI ETF. Bonds at 15% with our GOVI ETF. Stocks at 10% with our RSP ETF. US dollar at 10% with our UUP ETF. And Bitcoin at 5% with our IBIT ETF. So for our weekly percentages, gold is down 0.32% for a market loss of 96 cents. Commodities up 0.12% for a market gain of 12 cents. Bonds up 0.78% for a market gain of 77 cents. RSP, or stocks, up 1.93% for a market gain of $1.29. UUP, US dollar, up 0.85% down 0.85% for a market loss of 56 cents. And Bitcoin down 0.47% for a market loss of 16 cents. Work in the morning, so I'm tired now. Gold, this is our monthly percentages for week 53. So gold for the month up 0.11% for a market gain of 32 cents. Commodities up 3.08% for a market gain of $2.93. So good on commodities. Bonds down 0.42% for a market loss of 41 cents. Stocks up 5% for a market gain of $3.17. So stocks on the move again. US dollar up 0.33% for a market gain of 21 cents. And Bitcoin up 8.30% for a market gain of $2.60. Gold for the now quarterly percentages for week 53, gold up 1.15% for a market gain of $3.03. Gold really hasn't done much for a quarter. It's only up 1%. It's kind of chopped around sideways. Commodities up 5.65% for a market gain of $4.92. Bonds down 0.25% for a market loss of 22 cents. Stocks up 11.99% for a market gain of $6.84. So basically up 12% over the quarter. Stocks. Whew. US dollar down 0.93% for a market loss of 56 cents. And Bitcoin up 22.18% for a market gain of $5.99. Now we have our yearly data. Woohoo! So our yearly percentage for gold is up 32.38% for a market gain of $36.86. Our commodities are up 19.44% for a market gain of $10.48. Our GOVI ETF, we don't even have close to being a year yet. We only added this in February, so this isn't a full number. RSP, our stocks, up 7.20% for a market gain of $3.30. UUP, US dollar, down 10.65% for a market loss of $6. Horrible. And then IBIT, we also don't have for a full year. We have it going back to September, but it's up 92.97% for a market gain of $12.53. And then all time is not too different because, again, it's only 1 week later. So gold up 32.34% for a market gain of $36.42. Commodities up 19.61% for a market gain of $10.45. Bonds down 1.73% for a market loss of $1.36. Stocks up 7.06% for a market gain of $3.20. US dollar down 10.74% for a market loss of $5.98. And Bitcoin up 92.97% for a market gain of $12.53. That's our all time. So there's my position changes since I started. I have no new position changes added. I haven't done anything since April 30th. Just kept the portfolio the same. I have no new transactions this week. Nothing to show. Now we have our Illuvium staking dashboard. For week 53, ILV price has come up a little bit. Currently it's at $14.95. We have 21.62 ILV staked, which gives us a current market value of $323.25. Say $3. Woo. Here's our Illuvium investing schedule. Our very first vest unlocks in a day. It says right there, in a day. So one day, which means like tomorrow, basically. It's finally going to unlock. That's crazy. Been waiting so long. And then every month after that, these are going to start unlocking. And then here's the second page of the vesting schedule. And no new revenue distribution. Same old numbers you've seen before. Still waiting on those revenue payments. So those were our weekly numbers. Ooh. Even I get tired of doing this, but man, you gotta do it for the consistency. People need to see the proof. I'm showing them the proof. All right, so our gold GLD ETF going back to October 2023 up and to the right in this trend channel. Like I said, for 3 months, if you look at this peak right here, April 21st. Now we're at July 26th. So almost 3 months. It's chopped up and down. Kind of came up to this high mark around $3.15 for the ETF, but it has not broke it. So it's just been chopping sideways, but it's been chopping sideways in this coming off this uptrend. So it's I don't know if it's consolidating before it takes the next leg up, or if it's consolidating and it's going to crash down or something. But at the very least, it's been holding up this up green trend line. As you can see right now, there's like a bit of a sharp drop, so it might come down possibly next week or two. We'll see. But it has just been pretty much consolidating sideways for like 3 months, so it hasn't done a whole lot. Then our commodities, our USCI ETF, still above the lower trend line. So if I have this trend line going back from July of 2022 till January 2025, it was in these lower green trend lines, and then it broke out in January 2025, and then now it's in this upper green trend lines, and then it even kind of is popping out just a wee bit above these lines. So commodities still going higher, which is can be a leading indicator for inflation. Still going higher, but still 15% of our portfolio. Bonds. One of these days. Still horrible. Still have come down off a 5-year low. And then it's been kind of consolidating up and down. Still riding around this trend line. I don't know what's going to happen, but at some point, I gotta get rid of bonds or lower my position to bonds. US dollar still doing bad. It had a bit of a turnaround, a bit of a recovery. If I look at the DXY, here we go. It definitely bounced off of this really long trend line, over a decade long. So it's back to 2008, and you just see kind of up and down, up and down. It gets a little crazy. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down, and then it came down at this lower trend line area. And we're going to see what happens, but it looks like it bounced off of it at least. So we're going to see what happens. But the dollar has been very weak. Very weak year. I keep hearing stats like this is the weakest the dollar's been in decades or something like that. At the very least, the weakest start to the year, which it definitely does seem like that. So US dollar been coming down. Stocks been coming up. RSP looking like it's right around that all-time high that it made back in November of 2024. The S&P though already got past its all-time high, and it's still going up. It's going up slowly, but still going up. I think we had like all-time highs all week this week, if I'm not mistaken. Like it just kept going up and up and up. So it's I should still be increasing the stocks, but I've just kept it at 10%. Just because of the volatility of it. If you look at this whole last spike right here, this drop, like just the volatility of it is just so bad. But at the very least, the RSP is getting back to its all-time high, so the stocks are coming up. And then Bitcoin, you See this little droop right here. Look at that little droop right there. Don't know what's happening with it. As always, it's Bitcoin. Nobody knows. Everyone pretends like they know. But still, looking at this trend line, I just see this little blip above it, but not seeing much beyond that. So it's still in play, but I don't know where it's going to go. If it breaks down below this trend line, though, it's what's going to happen. If not, it's going to go up. This is going to become support now, maybe. This red trend line is going to become support. We'll see. Maybe I'll make it green. Then it'll become a support line because I changed the color to green. But anyway, that's our weekly rundown of the portfolio. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or criticisms, let me know. And have a good day.